Yo, what's up lads? So I've got a bit of a different video here for you today. I'm here on the CCP beta and we're going to be trying out a maxed out Ascended She-Hulk with a full synergy team. She has a really powerful synergy with Titania. On her heavy attack, she will deal 75% burst damage and this goes off her attack rating. So with the Furies, the burst damage goes crazy and she does 75% burst damage for each debuff on the opponent. So right now, we've got 4 unique debuffs on OG Captain America. So that means we're going to be doing 300% of our base attack as burst damage whenever we use a heavy attack. And this is a 10 million health pool fight. Let me repeat that. 10 million health pool. So this is the biggest fight you can find in game. This is nearly double the health pools of most Necropolis fights. But genuinely, no cap at all here. She-Hulk might have some of the best damage output in the entire game, especially with this synergy team. I'll spoil this for you now. This 10 million health pool fight goes down very fast, and I'm doing this video because my old buddy Arbin actually requested it. There is no Ascended She-Hulk gameplay with a full synergy team out there on YouTube. Well, at least he couldn't find any, so he requested that I do this video, and hey, I'm happy to do it, man. If you enjoy these types of videos, make sure to let me know. Let me know if there's any other champions you want me to make a video like this on. I can't do battlegrounds on the CCP beta, which does suck a bit, but I can test them pretty much anywhere. I can test them in this 10 mil health pool fight. I can test them in any act content, act 8, act 7, hell, act 6 if you want. So if you don't know how She-Hulk works, she has a flat 11% chance on her attacks to gain a Fury. A passive Fury, not a Fury buff, it's a passive Fury because she's a science champion and mystics counter buffs, so you have to make the Furies passive. But yeah, anyway, every time the opponent uses a special attack, these Furies will refresh. If they don't use a special attack, the Furies will drop off and you'll lose all your ramp up. She-Hulk's SB1 guarantees you 1 Fury passive, and this is the main way you want to ramp up with her. You want to spam your SB1s to build up your Fury. Look at that massive 115k SB1 we just did. That was crazy. 52k crit on the first hit, that SB1. On the SB2, She-Hulk will apply a Petrify debuff of 115% potency, I think it is. And what this Petrify debuff will do is it will reverse any regeneration or any power gain effects your opponent has. And She-Hulk is poison immune. She has a very long stun off her SB3. Each Fury on She-Hulk basically acts as a taunt, and this makes your opponent 15% more likely that they will throw a special attack each, and this does not have a limit. So I've got 31 Furies at the moment, so that means I have a 465% potency taunt on the opponent, so they are 465% more likely to throw the special attack. So that does help make She-Hulk a bit easier to play, because of course you need your opponents throwing special attacks so you can keep your Furies refreshed. With the Mr. Fantastic synergy, this lets us apply passive power stings on the opponent whenever we would apply a debuff, and these go off She-Hulk's attack rating. So these power stings get amplified by She-Hulk's Furies. You can see that power sting just did 150k. That's some wild damage for a power sting. You're getting that each and every time Captain America throws a special attack. 91k mediums, 165k first hit, the SB2. Imagine if the second hit crit, that'd be like something ridiculous at 300k or something. But this is a 10 mil health pool, and let's see how fast we got this down. 3 minutes 35, that is ridiculously fast. 10 mil health pool is like 3 labyrinth fights. 10 mil health pool is nearly double the health pools in Necro. So getting that down in 3 minutes, I can't understate that. That is some of the best damage I have seen in game, and I'm really impressed with She-Hulk. I would love to rank her up on my main. It's a shame she's not good enough for Battlegrounds. She can do some interesting stuff in Battlegrounds. I have seen her take rank 2, rank 3 Sasquatches in under a minute, which is pretty impressive. But outside of her science matchups, she's not very fast, and she is RNG reliant. Her speed does depend on how many Furies you gain, and the Furies are RNG. So she's not a Battlegrounds champ. Of course, she's not good on defense or either. I did have her in my deck when Battlegrounds was in the beta. I remember I used to run her, and she was my main Sasquatch counter. She was my main Mystic counter, and she did well. She would finish a lot of fights in 50 seconds, and that was very good back then. But she's too outdated as a Battlegrounds champ. She's too much of a ramp up champion for Battlegrounds, and that's okay. She shines everywhere else in the game. She doesn't need to be good in Battlegrounds. She destroys most of the act content. She makes any long form content a joke if you can play her well. But it's very rare that I play She-Hulk. I'm not the best She-Hulk player, and I'm getting some ridiculous numbers out of her. So if you're not interested in BGs, you're just interested in having fun, smoking some story content, hell yeah, rank She-Hulk. And we've got this Gauntlet Weapon X here, and the way I'm playing this is I'm letting him regen all up. I want him to regen all the way up. I want to keep him in his berserk mode, healing, until I am happy with how many Furies I've ramped up. Because when Weapon X goes out of berserker mode, his regen will be a lot less powerful, and I want to have enough Furies to kill him before he goes into his next berserk mode. So we're just ramping up our Furies here. I'm not bothering with the heavy attacks. I actually forgot to put the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights onto this fight, so we're not going to be getting the extra burst damage off the heavy attacks. We'll still get some burst damage, but we are missing a good 225% in burst damage, and that's okay because She-Hulk still smokes this insanely fast. So I did not think it was worth redoing. I thought this was more than good enough for the video to show She-Hulk's damage. We are boosted here. We're still running a 20% attack boost and a 20% green boost, and he's almost out of his berserk now. You're about to see Weapon X's health pool go from 100 to 0 real quick. We just got to ramp up a few more Furies. One very nice piece of utility that She-Hulk has, which I forgot to mention earlier on, is her slow debuff of her heavy attack. This is probably what she is most well known for, and I remember using this to counter the 8.2 champion, and this was before he got nerfed. We'll talk about that in a second. Look at this. Weapon X has gone out of his berserker rage, and that power sting just took off a good 15% of his health. Massive SP2 there, didn't even crit, still did over 100k, well over 100k if you count the first hit, and that heavy attack just did over 100k. That was Gauntlet Weapon X, easily smoked by She-Hulk. We had no way to counter his regeneration. If you're wondering, the Petrify does not work on Weapon X because his regeneration rate cannot be modified, so the Petrify would have no effect on him. So we really had no way to counter his regen. We just out damaged it, and we did it very fast. Got a quick Realm of Legends fight here with the full synergy team, and we're still boosted. We're going to see how fast we can get Captain Marvel down here. She clipped me there, but that's okay. We've only got 3 Furies, and most of Captain Marvel's health pool has disappeared. But as I was saying, I was talking about her being a great counter to the 8.2 champion. This is who I used, and I got it down in, I think it was 3 revives. And this is when the champion was pretty tough. It was after the first nerf, but before the second nerf. So it was still a pretty tough fight. And I did go into the fight with someone else. I can't remember who I tried to use, but I remember trying to use someone else, and it cost me loads of revives, so I had to back out of the quest. And I ranked up She-Hulk specifically for it, used her. She smoked it in 3 to 4 revives for me, which I was very pleased with. And we got the Gauntlet Doctor Doom here. Our basic attacks will glance, so we're going to have to rely on our heavy attacks here, but that's okay. We're not getting very good Fury RNG, but that's fine because our heavy attacks are still slapping. Even without any Furies, our heavy attacks are still doing 225% of our attack as extra burst damage. Well, it's 300% actually, because we've got a slow debuff on Doom as well. So yeah, 300% of our attack rating is getting dealt as burst damage to Doom on our heavy attack. So it really doesn't matter that we don't have Fury buffs here. We still do plenty of damage. That's why I wanted to showcase this fight. She-Hulk still smoked it, made a joke out of it. 1 minute 12 for a 600k health pool fight where we didn't even get any good Fury RNG is crazy. Got a 1.7 mil health pool fight here in Labyrinth Red Hulk, and of course, as you can imagine, She-Hulk gets this down extremely fast. We're still running the full synergy team. If you're wondering why I haven't been applying the Mr. Fantastic debuff, what decreases combat power rate, that actually makes She-Hulk a bit difficult to play, because as I explained earlier in the video, you want to be baiting out a lot of special attacks with She-Hulk. So decreasing your opponent's combat power rate, that's a pretty bad idea. It just makes her much difficult to play. Got a nice 19k medium there, and we only have 6 Furies. We're just getting started now. I am going to try and heavy counter whenever I can to try and do this fight as fast as possible. We're going to be spamming our SB1s to ramp up. Don't want to go for the SB2 in this fight because it's just going to trigger the damage cap. So spamming SB1 for the Furies is definitely the way to go. But I'm going to end the video here, lads. Well, I'm not going to end the video. I'm going to let this Red Hulk play out. And then we have She-Hulk versus Juggernaut, Realm of Legends Juggernaut, with no synergies, just so you can see how her damage output is as an ascended 6-star, without any synergies, without any boosts. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video, lads. If you enjoyed watching, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, let me know if you enjoy these types of videos, and let me know if there's anyone else you want me to make this type of video on, and I'll catch you all in the next video.